The adventures continue with David and Saul as we move on to the next set of 10 questions from Carl Shoup's book, Test Your Bible Knowledge. The questions follow the books of the Bible, and the next big event in David's life occurs when he journeys to Gath and joins up with the Philistines. There are battles, invasions, kidnappings, and even a séance ahead, and I'm sure the author will use these events to formulate some really tricky multiple choice questions. As you probably already know, each question has 4 choices, and it is my job to select the correct answer and get all of them correct. Unfortunately, I was not able to get a perfect score last time, but I have another chance with this next set of 10 questions. Now, all of these questions include a reference from the Bible, so you can read about these adventures on your own. Well, alright, I'm ready to start, and the next question is number 331. Alright, question number 331. Nabal's wife Abigail persuaded David not to kill her husband by pointing out that otherwise David would A. be pursued anew by Saul, B. have cause of grief and offense of heart, C. be unable to marry her as widow of the man he murdered, or D. be preempting the Lord who was about to kill Nabal himself. Alright, I'm not sure of this answer here at all. I don't think that it's A, be pursued anew by Saul. I don't think that that's the answer. I'm kind of leaning towards B, have cause of grief and offense of heart. I don't think that it's C, be unable to marry her. It could be, though, and I'm pretty sure it's not D. So for 331, I'm going to choose letter B, have cause of grief and offense of heart. Question number 332. Including Abigail, the number of wives that David had with him at the time was A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, or D, 4. And I think that he only had one wife, and that was, I think it was Michal, Saul's daughter. So for this one, I'm going to choose A, 1. 333. Saul finally stopped pursuing David when A. David demonstrated the second time the spear and the cruse of water that he had had Saul's life in his hands, yet had spared him. B. Jonathan threatened to lead an uprising against his father. C. David's earlier wife Michal threatened to denounce publicly her father Saul. Or D. David moved his residence to Gath in the Philistine country. Alright, I think that the answer here is A. David demonstrated the second time with the spear and the cruse of water that he had had Saul's life in his hands, yet had spared him. I think that's the correct answer here for this one. So for 333, I'm going to choose letter A. 334. David, in his raids upon the Geshurites and the Jezreelites and the Amalekites, left neither man nor woman alive in order that A. these ancient enemies would no more trouble Israel, B. Saul would be impressed by his loyalty to the cause of Israel, C. the Philistine king would never know that it was not Israelites that David was destroying, or D. the Lord should be avenged on these worshippers of false gods. This question refers to the time period when David went over to live with the Philistines, and I think that the answer here is C. The Philistine king would never know that it was not Israelites that David was destroying. So for 334, I'm going to go with C. 335. After Saul had consulted the woman of Endor that had a familiar spirit, he may well have wished that she had had A. less power, B. more power, C. no power, or D. a more pleasing appearance. I can eliminate D, a more pleasing appearance. That's not the answer here. And I think that the answer may be C, no power, because I think that the Bible refers to her as a witch or a medium. And if she had no power, then he wouldn't have received the news that he received. So I'm going to go with C, no power, for 335. 336. The woman of Endor proved A, vicious, B, hospitable, C, curious, or D, dull. And I remember this story, and I believe the best answer here is B, hospitable because after he received the news that he received, he needed some food and she was there to help him out. So for my answer for 336, I'm going to pick B. 337. David was detached from the Philistine army that was to fight Saul because A, he requested it, B, Achish distrusted him, C, the Philistine lords distrusted him, or D, of language difficulties. All right, this one I think is a bit of a trick, and the author is trying to get me to pick B, Achish distrusted him, but I think that the real answer here is C, that the Philistine lords distrusted him. So for 337, I'm going to choose answer C. 338, David was enabled to rescue everyone that had been taken from Ziklag, including his 2 wives, because the Amalekites were A, cowardly, B, slow, C, undernourished, or D, callous. And I do not recall the answer here. I don't think that it's A, cowardly. It may be B, slow, and it may be undernourished, but I don't think that it's D, callous. So I'm going to take a guess here and go with B, slow, for 338. 339, David decreed that those who tarried by the stuff, the baggage, would share with those who fought A, equally, B, as 1 to 2, C, as 1 to 3, or D, not at all. And I'm pretty sure the answer here is A, equally. 339, answer A. 340, the last one in this set of 10, and it says, at the battle of Mount Gilboa, the dead included A, Jonathan and Saul, B, Jonathan but not Saul, C, Saul but not Jonathan, or D, neither Jonathan nor Saul. And I'm not sure of the answer here at all for this one, but I think that it's A, Jonathan and Saul. So we'll see what happens here. So for 340, my answer is A. All right, that's the end of that 10, and there were a few difficult ones in that group of 10. So I'll look back here at the answers and we'll see which ones I was able to answer correctly. And the answers are back here at the back of the book, and I'll start with 331. This one was the question, Nabal's wife, Abigail, persuaded David not to kill her husband by pointing out that otherwise David would, and I said B, have cause of grief and offense of heart, and the correct answer is B. So I got that one right. 332, the correct answer is B, but I put down A. This question was the one that read, including Abigail, the number of wives that David had with him at that time was, I said A1, but actually the answer is B2. So I missed that one. 333, the correct answer is D, and I marked A. So let's go back and take a look at that question. 333, Saul finally stopped pursuing David when, I said A, David demonstrated the second time the spear and the cruse of water that he had had Saul's life in his hands, yet had spared him. But the actual answer is D, David moved his residence to Gath in the Philistine country. Next one is 334. I answered C, and that is the correct answer, C. The question was, David in his raids upon the Geshurites and Jezerites and Amalekites left neither man nor woman alive, and the correct answer was C. The Philistine king would never know that it was not Israelites that David was destroying, so got that one right. Next one is 335. The question, after Saul had consulted the woman of Endor that had a familiar spirit, he may well have wished that she had, I said C, no power, but the correct answer is A, less power. So that is the third one for me. This is not looking too good. Next one, 336. This was the question that read, the woman of Endor proved, I said B, hospitable, and the correct answer is B. So good job on that one. 337, the correct answer for that one was C, and I marked C. That was the question, David was detached from the Philistine army that was to fight Saul because, and the correct answer C, the Philistine lords distrusted him. 338, the correct answer for that is D, and I put down B. So let's look back. That was the question about David rescuing everyone that had been taken from Ziklag, and I guessed B, it was because the Amalekites were slow. Correct answer was D, that they were callous. 339, I answered A, and the correct answer is A, so good job for that one. It was the one David decreed that those who tarried by the stuff would share with those who fought, and the correct answer equally, letter A. All right, 340, the last one. I put down A for my answer. This one was the one at the Battle of Mount Gilboa. The dead included, I thought it was A, Jonathan and Saul, and the correct answer is A, Jonathan and Saul, so I got that one right. All right, out of that group of 10, it looks like I was able to get 6 correct, which is 60%, which is not that great. Matter of fact, it's a little bit embarrassing, but at least I'll have another chance to get them all right next time, and those 10 questions will start us in the book of 2 Samuel. And in that book, we'll learn more about Saul's death, and we'll continue on with the adventures of David as he becomes king of Israel.